Hello, Pablo. Congrats on the win. Sorry, let me get my recording set up just real quick. Yeah, sorry, congrats on the tie that
Oh,
is.
I thought you saw I was getting start celebrating in here. I thought we pulled the three, but no,
it kind
appreciate it.
it kind of feels like a win, right? Being able to hold them off like you guys did. In fact, I mean, technically, your team scored both of the goals with it ended up being an own goal on Jay Glad. So you weren't actually scored on by Minnesota tonight. So from a defensive standpoint, I guess what was really working for you guys tonight?
Well, again, I'll just back up. I think you know being on the road for three games in 1 week is very difficult, and very few times have I been a part, whether I was a player or coach, been a part of getting results in all three games, and two of those being victories. And so, I think top mentality teams are able to really, grind through the rigors of the travel of being away from home for a week. And so, I think tonight's performance was really about digging deep, and I thought the guys did just that. I think we had one or two other really good opportunities that we could have capitalized on. But every game's going to be different. In this game, they had a little momentum at the end, and the guys in the back, and the everyone, the commitment from the whole team defensively to secure the result. And I just couldn't be more proud of this group. I've been saying to our guys that there's a lot of great things that we're doing, and it won't be realized until you put together a string of three good results. And I think we're at a point now where there's a foundation that's being laid, and we just got to keep putting layers on top of it on both sides of the ball. Be a little cleaner with our last decision. Take our chances well, and then defensively, just the commitment from everyone to get do whatever it takes to break up plays. There's some fantastic performances after three games, and just really happy for everyone in the group, and everyone contributed. There's maybe one or two players that didn't get as much time as they'd like, but for the most part, there was 20 something players in this, that started in one of the three games, and that makes me real proud, as far as what a team looks like, what a team feels like. And then obviously the results have been great.
Yeah, and then one of those guys that I was pretty impressed with tonight was Brody. And he's kind of one of the quieter players in the team, both in words and then in his play as well. But I think, when you look at the time that he missed due to injury over those first few weeks of the season, it kind of corresponded with a bit of a rough stretch for you guys. Do you feel like him really kind of getting back into form has coincided a lot with the team's form in general?
Yeah, I think you can say that. I think Brody is, again, he's a fantastic professional. He plays on the right side when needed, plays on the left side. And I'm just really impressed with his growth, excuse me, over the course of the last 3 years, and going from a player that wasn't a part of a first team to where he is now. He's one of these players from a coaching perspective that you can plug in in any position, and he's going to give you a 7-8 performance every game. And so he's one of these players. Defensively, makes great decisions and works hard for the group. Offensively, has an ability to get the ball forward and really create from that outside back position. So I think it's I think it's I don't think it's a coincidence that our run of form has coincided with Brody's return, among others, obviously, but he's been great.
And then lastly, just wanted to highlight Sava as well. He got the goal tonight. And you guys have kind of moved him around a bit, up top on the side. But it seems like wherever he's at offensively, he's just kind of been the guy for you guys. Do you kind of see him as possibly ending up as a leading goal scorer, most likely on this team at the end of the year?
I think Saba has an uncanny knack of putting himself in great positions, whether it's behind the back line or in between the lines. I think one of his greatest attributes is his ability to turn in those tight spaces and really drive at the back line. I think the biggest thing, and I think I said this last week, is when Saba's engaged on both sides of the ball, he becomes a different player and we become a different team. And I think he's been exceptional in these last two games. And again, playing, and again, a real team player to be able to play there's positions where you're comfortable in, but really in the middle and on the right side are his preferred positions, and we played him out left early on in the season. I think those two positions really suit him well and suit the team well, and so I think he has the potential to be a great goal scorer, a great goal facilitator, and a leader for this group.
Awesome, thank you.
Caleb is the only one on tonight, Pablo, but I will ask about Gavin Beavers. Can you kind of talk about what it takes at 18 years old to come in at halftime in a game where Minnesota's seriously looking for that go-ahead goal, and maybe what the benefit of him playing in these Open Cups does to have him come in like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for young players isn't necessarily the coach's confidence in any one young player. It's the confidence from his teammates that really expedite the growth process, and that takes time, and it takes a lot of trust, and trust takes time, like any other relationship. And so, I said it in the last call, I think looking back at putting them in the Columbus game wasn't necessarily the best decision for Gavin, but then you're always wanting to see the reaction from a moment like that, and he's been trending in a fantastic direction. He's gained and the trust of the back line of the team, and those Open Cup performances, whilst the first one maybe there's not a lot of pressure, the last couple have been very intense games, and there's nothing that mimics playing in a game with pressure, and so I think this is all part of his development, but I think he's shown that he belongs at this level, that he can manage a back line, and I'm impressed. And we talk about it frequently about his decision making, playing out of the back, the moments when to play, the moments when the teams have momentum and we want to break that up and we go long. His understanding and his desire to be a top pro is evident in the performances that he's had.
Sorry, one more real quick. Meg just reminded me. Obviously, it's not very often that you have a goalkeeper sub in a match. Could you just kind of give us an update on Zach and what was going on with him?
Yeah, so I think his head hit the ground on the challenge with Boxall, and I think he pushed Glad into Zach, and so he was fine. But then when we stopped playing, he experienced concussion-like symptoms, and so as a precaution, he wasn't feeling great. So as a precaution, we just pulled him out, and again, I think the benefit of having somebody playing in Open Cup games in Gavin's case really makes that decision a no-brainer when Zach's not feeling up to snuff. But I think he says he's feeling better, and we'll just see how the travel goes and how he recovers the next couple of days.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Pablo, I'll finish with you've had a long stretch where you're playing every Wednesday and Saturday. You got to do it again this upcoming week. We've talked a lot about how it's taking every guy. Now with Zach and Gavin coming in, what are you going to need from the guys this next week?
Yeah, I don't think anything changes, Meg. I think the way I look at a season is we want to play a certain way, and then every game presents areas that need improvement or need touching up. And so for us, nothing changes. And the great thing is, whoever steps in has done a great job. And so it's more organizational, it's more structural, it's more tactical. Those are the things that we'll look at. But as far as the intangibles, the determination, the fight for one another, the grit, the belief, those things are the foundation for this group. And so the stuff that we'll continue to work on is really the easier part. But when you have belief and you're willing to work for the guy next to you, those are stuff that takes time. And over the course of the last 6 weeks, I think starting with Charlotte, I've seen a group of guys that have really, the switch has been flipped. And and again, when you get three road results, that can only increase the amount of confidence within the group. So we'll run it back. We'll see who's available for Wednesday. And the great thing is, we got a full roster of players that are willing to commit to do everything they can to get another great result at home on Wednesday.
Pablo, that's where I'm going to go. You've used 25 players, I think, in this period where unbeaten in 10 out of 12. How nice is it going to be to get home for 3 of the next 4 before we kind of get back to a regular cadence?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think sometimes it takes going away from home. I think Sean asked me this before we went on this road trip, and the importance of, does it bring teams together? And I said, well, we'll chat after the trip. But I think this last week has been really great to be in and around the group and see the interaction away from the game. And I think trust has to occur off the field before it's found on the field. And so I think we're coming home at a great time. Having said that, you can't change your mindset when you're home or away. You gotta keep digging and you gotta keep grinding. This league is relentless, and the most important thing is the consistency in performance, consistency in getting results. And I think those are, again, foundations that we'll continue to build on.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Pablo. Appreciate it. Safe travels home.
Okay. Thanks.
Hey, Brody. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, no problem.
Caleb, go ahead.
Caleb, you're taking him away from the Heat, just so you know.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, I'll keep this quick then. Congrats on finishing, this road trip undefeated. I'm sure, it's been a lot of play, a lot of minutes. But maybe just kind of take us through what these last 8 days or so have been like for the team as you guys have been on the road and got these results.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been a grind. I think guys have been working unbelievably hard, and you've seen a number of guys step up. We've really used everybody on our roster. Everybody's taken their opportunities well. And, we put in so much work this week, and I think the results have showed that by beating our rivals twice and then coming here to finish the week to get a result and a tough spot on the road. So I'm super proud of this group, and we're so hungry. We want to keep going and get a win on Wednesday at home.
And then just defensively, speaking, obviously you guys have rotated through quite a few guys. And then even tonight as well, you got to change goalkeepers halfway through, have a couple changes there on the back line. What did it take, I guess, to maintain that draw and not let them get another one there in the second half?
Yeah, I think that everybody, has just been playing in their best football, really. People have come in and locked it down and stepped into a role where they're dependent on, and, they've succeeded in their roles. So I think that goes to show we got, a number of guys across the back line that could come in and put in a shift and, really keep it together to, get results, especially on the road and in a tough spot like Minnesota. It was a little hectic towards the end, but I'm super proud of the group that held it down. And that's not just the back line, that's from top to front. I think our forwards were putting in a ton of work up there, not making it easy for them to just pass through the lines and really press it. So it's everyone, it's not just the back four.
Do you feel like your role on the field has changed at all from last year to this year?
No, I think my role's, about the same. I know that sometimes I'm needed at left back and sometimes I'm needed at right back, but I think, whatever side I'm on, my job primarily is to defend. As an outside back, that's your first role. And then, I still try and get forward when I can. I play what the game calls for. And I think today it kind of called for, really being solid defensively and trying to find our midfielders and forwards in good pockets of space to get them turned.
And then lastly for me, I might be stealing one from Meg. I'm not sure if she wanted to ask it, but just talking about Gavin a little bit, him coming on at halftime, and then obviously he's played quite a bit in the Open Cup as well at 18 years old. Just how impressive you've been with him at such a young age.
Yeah, so impressive. I think he's done unbelievable. It showed in the Open Cup game on Wednesday. He came up with some big saves, and I think he's really commanded the box quite well for an 18-year-old to step into these high pressure games and in away environments. It's not easy at all. So huge credit to him. He's taken his chance and he's run with it. And I'm sure we'll see a lot more of him in the future.
Awesome. Thank you.
Trey, you got anything?
Yeah, just real quick, Brody, we have 3 of the next 4 at home after being on the road. 25 different guys have played over, I think, 10 games in the last 30 days. Like, I guess just talk about that rotation, that cadence, and then what the team has found, and then to be back in front of the home fans.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be nice to get back home. We want to play in front of our home fans, and we know the results haven't been the best at home lately, and we definitely want to, give our fans something to cheer for, give them 3 points, some goals at home, and I think that's a focus for us this week. And it's with these games coming Saturday, Wednesday, we're dependent on every single player on this squad because the amount of miles guys are putting in, it's you have to get some rest every now and then, and really buy into the team philosophy where everybody's going to step in and do their role when they're called upon.
Can you just Mecca and Berton, Gavin, and some of these other young guys, you were in those shoes not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So have they come to you? Have you been able to kind of mentor them or give them an idea of what to expect, especially when there's a game every 72 hours?
Yeah, no, I think the three of them have done unbelievable. We've really been dependent on them quite a bit in the last few weeks. And I think each one of them has been a bright spot for us. They've been difference makers on the pitch, no matter what position that they're thrown in on. I think where Tom's played up front and out wide, and Mecca's played in the middle and right back. So it goes to show how versatile they are. And, as far as advice for them, I just say, be patient, work hard, keep your head down, and, opportunities will come and you just have to take them. Cause, I was in their shoes not too long ago. And when I got my opportunity, all I could do was take it and run with it. And that's all they can do as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Meg, anything?
Nope. Thanks, Brody.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Bro, appreciate you.
2 seconds left in the Heat game.
I know. I started getting to yell too.
Oh, wow.
Caleb, do you want me to try to track down Dami or anybody else?
You're good.
All right.
Appreciate